Hello, KCIW listeners, and welcome to Curry Cafe. I'm volunteer Rick McNamer with your host, Ray Gary, KCIW's famous radio personality. Here at Curry Cafe, we put together a panel of guests to discuss topics of interest in our community. Listeners can participate in our show by texting in questions or comments to 541-661-4098. Again, that's 541-661-4098. Now, before we begin, I would like to let our listeners know that KCIW is an all-volunteer community radio station that depends on our volunteers, sponsors, underwriters, and local businesses with their generous donations to keep us on the air. If you'd like to help us out, please go to kciw.org. And speaking of support from our local businesses, KCIW and Curry Cafe would like to thank our sponsor, Z Clean Laundry, located at 1107 Chetco Avenue here in Brookings. Z Clean will wash and fold your laundry within 2 to 3 days after drop-off and will rush the order if you need it sooner. They also handle large loads like comforters. They offer dry cleaning and can handle linen services also. KCIW appreciates and thanks Z Clean for their generous support for community radio. Now, that's all done. Here's Ray Gary to tell us about today's show.
Yeah, hi. We, as I said before, we usually tour the city and look in every nook and corner to find guests that are interesting to be on this show. And today we certainly have that. And I will just have them introduce themselves and tell you why they thought they needed to darken our door. But before I do that, write this down because you're going to want to use it. It's 541-661-4098. And with that, you can text in questions. We have operators standing by, and we'll be happy to talk about them.
Professional operators are here.
Okay.
All right.
Now we can start.
Here we go.
Start with Ron.
Who's here? This is Ron Schneerson, and I'm here to talk about public art. I'm with the Brookings Public Art Collaborative.
And I'm Tim Rundle. I'm the city manager here in Brookings and part of the collaborative as well. And working with Ron over the past couple of years and trying to get some good ideas and funding for public art.
So, and the city obviously is working very close because that's a big deal up here. It's probably a big deal. Most cities have their own little thing going, but this is such a artsy area, if you will, just where we live. Number one.
Yeah, I'm really I feel so fortunate. We have a lot of talent here in Brookings and the surrounding area in all kinds of forms, and we do have a lot of artists. We have a lot of people that appreciate art. You can't really grasp that when you drive through town. You see a few murals.
Okay.
Maybe a grizzly bear here and there.
Hold up, the football bear.
Right, the football bear. But not a whole lot in the way of public art.
I kind of miss the painted cows.
Yeah,
Did we get one of those?
It might have been before my time.
Oh, yeah. I traveled around the country in every city and town. I had a cow. There was some kind of contest or something that painted in different colors, and same cow, the same statue that was painted by different people.
Right, right. Something similar in Florence with seals. You see a lot of the seals that are painted by artists.
We have enough of our own real ones.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're trying to bring art to the city and really kind of express what it is that Brookings is about and what we have to offer, what the people are like here. And a lot of people drive right through and they're not sure what the name of our town is, let alone what we're about and what we have to offer.
Really along of course, I'm partial. The oceans always overwhelm me, the beauty. But along the whole coast of Oregon, Brookings is probably is it like one of the least known? You have Florence, you have Tillamook,
Gold Beach,
yeah.
Seaside, Cannon Beach,
all of that stuff. But it seems like Brookings might be one of the lesser known. And boy, I don't know why, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Well, because if you're going down 101, you don't really see a whole lot. There's a Fred Meyer and a couple of stores. It's not really an attractive city. They need to have some way to get people to see the ocean.
Yeah, but we are changing that. And there's multiple programs. Like the facade program that's been around for many years. A lot of success with that.
And what is that then?
The facade program is a program the city has been involved with for quite a while. It's a matching grant through our urban renewal agency. And what we do is we allow businesses and storefronts, if they're wanting to do some substantial upgrades to, anything from painting, the outside, or putting in, new awnings, basically the frontage of the building there.
Fixing up what's there.
Fixing up, like what Ron says, kind of like that first appearance when you're driving through town. Some cities have more of a consistency, like, only certain paints can be utilized. We're not that way here.
Okay.
They have color schemes. If you drive through certain towns, like, wow, all these buildings have very similar color schemes. It's because of, the way it was presented, or mandatory at some point. But that's not here. What we do here is we allow a business to come in, and we've got examples. And it's not just down Chedco. It's also the Urban Renewal Agency goes down Railroad and a couple other places too. So we've had some folks take advantage of that. Right now, Ponchos is...
I just ate there last night.
Yeah. Well, Ponchos, as you've seen, has kind of done some facade improvements.
Yes.
They were a participant in our facade improvement program.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what we do is we take that Urban Renewal Agency funding and reinvest it back into our community via the facade program. We also, like I said, are starting some funding for public art as well. And that's what I think, Ron and the collaborative have really been focusing on. When people think of public art, sometimes they mostly just think of, just, a mural here or there. But I think we got to look at it from a standpoint of, trying to find our identity here, as far as, and Ron's group has really done a really good job of bringing forward some, some suggestions, and, whether it be, the gateway to the Northwest
Pacific
Pass.
Northwest. I love that name, number one, and it's very true.
It is. Yes, the Pacific Northwest. And because you think about everybody that's, traveling north, coming out of California, this is the Pacific Northwest, is what, the rest of the country considers the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, it is.
And so, having something that welcomes our travelers, our folks coming into this, as soon as they cross the Chetco, coming into the community, can see that. And I think that's important for them to have a good... And Ron and I have talked about this before. If you think about some of your favorite communities that you like to go visit, a lot of those communities have incredible public art. Whether it be statues, or kind of like some of the things we were talking about with the painted cows, or those type of things too. Some cities have these themes, like talking about with Florence with their seals. I worked at a couple different cities where we had, one of them was, believe it or not, Shetland ponies. The little ponies. They were part of the history of this community that I worked at. And so they started a program where they bought a bunch of these statues and commissioned artists to paint these Shetland ponies, and they posted them all around the city there. The city of Oklahoma City, because I was in the Oklahoma City area for about 25 years.
Okay.
And the city of Oklahoma City does buffaloes, because Oklahoma's, that's
right.
Native America, and that's what they did there. They painted these buffaloes all over the community. So so we can go anywhere from that to creating public art that is unique just to that community as well.
Well, you bring up a great point for me. Is I come from a few other places, but I lived in Yuba City, California for a while. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they're I shouldn't say notorious. A long time ago, there was a huge chicken ranch. Anyway, all over that town are wild chickens everywhere. And of course, it's a big ag area. Well, about right before I left there, probably 2 years before I left, some people got an idea, like all those big PG&E utility boxes and any of these things that are kind of just, the local artists got through all over town. They were painting chickens and cows in beautiful colors. I thought it was great.
Yep.
And it definitely, that made sense for that area.
Yeah. So what's
and again,
nice about that is you have continuity of the art.
Exactly.
Right? There's a theme.
Yes.
Yeah. So our theme is the gateway to the Pacific Northwest, and that should carry through in some sense into all the pieces that we do, all the projects.
And I was also the city manager in Auburn. which
I come from Loomis.
Oh, well, you were right down the road. I lived in Loomis for the first 6 months I moved to that area. So small world.
What another great community. That
It
little
is. Yeah,
foothill
Loomis is
community, Loomis, Penryn. Okay.
Oh,
Auburn.
yeah. We almost bought a house in Penryn. So anyway,
Wow. Okay.
small world.
Like you said, small world.
So,
Okay.
but there in Auburn, while I was there, they had the Arts Commission, and they did a similar thing with the boxes, the signal boxes, those big ugly electric boxes near
Yes.
a lot of intersections. And so what they did was they commissioned artists to paint these boxes, and it was a great program because they had, like Ron said, it provided some consistency throughout the community.
You bet.
And so, Auburn's a big gold mining community.
Yes,
so
it
I think
is.
a lot of the boxes tied into the gold mining and the gold rush, so to speak. So those are the type of things also I think we can really take advantage of here too.
Oh, God, no kidding. And I know I won't keep too long on my old area, but Loomis, they were kind of famous. I worked in the fruit sheds there as a kid, and so fruit packing and the eggplant fest, those kind of little festivals, and they have art depicting that too.
Oh yeah.
Around town.
Yep.
So it just makes so much sense, and it just really captures everybody. Wow, this is kind of cool, man.
It does. And I was just telling somebody yesterday, Newcastle was also
Yeah.
one of my favorite places to go to.
Mine too.
Yeah, because they had some great produce areas over there. And
The sides of the peach or the boxes were like pieces of art, if you remember the old boxes they used
absolutely.
to pack.
Yep.
A
So
lot of
it's-
people collect those. Okay.
Yeah, so those are the type of things.
Shout out to Loomis. Okay.
Loomis and
And
Auburn, right? Yeah, so, but yeah, those are the type of things we're looking at,
That's
doing here
awesome.
as well, because what we want is our visitors that come into the community have a good experience, and people remember, and whether it be a piece of art or the boxes that are painted, we want that to be a pleasant experience when they come through the community, and kind of, as you had pointed out earlier, give them something to remember when they drive down 101. It's like, oh, that's the town that has this, or that's the town that has that.
You bet.
So yeah, that's what we're looking at here.
And one more quick shout out just to this community. And by the way, y'all text in comments, questions, 541-661-4098. I happen to have friends visiting me now, Bob and Mary, if you're listening. I'm going to talk about you a little bit. They were pleased with this. They've been here, I think, for a few days. Anyway, and I noticed this when I first moved here. I've been here about 8 years. And anyway, to me, it's one of the friendliest communities I've ever lived in. And they noticed that. They were at the farmer's market, and they were purchasing some things, and one of the things was like in memoriam to their son, and the lady there's, you can have this. Anyway, they were overwhelmed by how this community feels, and I think that's huge, big positive. And I've always felt it here.
Yep. I have too. I've only been here 2 years.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I took the job July 22nd of 2024.
Okay.
So, yep, just a little over 2 years, and I felt it too. This overwhelming, welcoming, as you could say. And I think, Ron, he's been here a little bit longer than me. I think he can express the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, very friendly.
Yeah.
Much more so than anywhere else I've lived.
Yeah.
I had relatives visiting from Fort Lauderdale a few years ago, and I couldn't believe it. Nobody's beeping their horn. The light changed. Let's go.
No, you don't see that very often.
They actually couldn't deal with it.
Yeah. Well, that's why a lot of people come here from a lot of bigger cities. I know, Ron's from the LA area, and a lot of people, we get transplants from here. And I know people give Californians a tough time, but we're not.
I'm one. I mean, I don't give them because I'm a Californian.
Exactly.
I'm in Smith River.
Well, and I like I said, I was in Auburn for a while. Then I was in Siskiyou County for 4.5 years. So yeah,
Beautiful areas.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like I have a little bit of California blood in me, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't be welcome into the community.
No.
And honestly, people are very welcoming here.
They are.
Like you said, most of the people that live around here have California ties. I mean, when you're right on the border here, you're going to have some of that.
Of course. Right. Me personally, I've always considered this whole kind of area from, everybody has a different idea, but let's say the community of Klamath all the way past Gold Beach, it's just the Wild Rivers area.
Yep.
To me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's cool stuff. So let's talk about welcoming and the gateway, Ron. We'll talk about your plan is, and along with Tim, that sculpture possibly being at the north end of the Chetco Bridge. to be an eye catcher for both locals and travelers.
Yeah, well, kind of as Tim was alluding to, we really have a kind of comprehensive program.
Yeah.
We're looking at sculptures, murals, wrapping control boxes, and et cetera, into the future. We'll see what other mediums we come up with. And so kind of our inaugural piece is going to be a sculpture. And, kind of one of the first kind of orders of business after we put a team together, who I'd like to, acknowledge here in a minute.
Oh, please do.
Is
Yeah.
we selected a location. And so we worked with Sharon Johnson and the Botanical Gardens team, and we narrowed it down to a spot right there off the sidewalk on the north bank of the Chetco.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much right on the Botanical Gardens grounds, but just off the sidewalk.
Coming in, I see people working there all the time.
Right, right.
Maintaining volunteers, no
All
doubt.
volunteers.
Well, the kind of the beauty of that location is, kind of as you come into town over the bridge is kind of framing it. So your focus as you look across the Chetco and you're coming across the bridge, you see the Botanical Gardens and you see right where that sculpture is going to be.
Yep.
And so it's going to be really kind of a nice first impression of, okay, now I'm in Brookings.
Yeah.
And so that's key to that we get this right. And, why we're here today is to let people know it's coming. So, hopefully not
That's
too many people are
exciting.
surprised.
Has the statue already been chosen, or is it still out for bid?
Well, where we're at now is we did a call to artists about a little over a month ago, and getting a lot of responses, and we definitely have a few very promising responses, nice concepts, and and you could just look at previous work from each of these artists and see what artist is a good fit and what kind of style their work is, and what makes sense. And so we're going to narrow it down and then bring it to the city council and the urban renewal committee and do a final selection, and that'll hopefully be the early next month.
Oh, wow. That's
And then we can do
pretty quick.
firm up a proposal and contract and
Yeah.
and get the ball rolling.
So throwing out, just curious, how many ideas do you have already down, or is that even in the
Well, we still got one more week left, don't we?
for artists to
Submit.
submit? Okay.
Yeah, call to artist closes at the end of the month.
Okay.
And so we did this, online thing where you post these calls to artists, but we also reached out to the community. If people know a sculptor that does public art, worked a little bit with the Manly and got the word out, through them and through some other local artists. So, we're open till the end of the month, and then we're going to the next phase where we narrow it down and then make a final decision.
So there are some local people submitting their ideas too.
There's local people that know about it. I don't have anything submitted from a Brookings resident just yet.
Which is still okay. Look at me, but it is. It's okay.
Well, there's artists, but some of them are not necessarily sculptors.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's
And you guys are just at the beginning stages. I mean, here in another few years, like you said, murals or painting. Yeah, it's all it's all encompassing.
The signal control boxes is really a great opportunity for local
Worked
artists.
in Yuba City pretty good.
We could take an existing piece of art or have someone create new art, and we end up converting it to a vinyl wrap. And we have a company that will install the vinyl wrap.
Okay.
that will ensure it there, and also ensure it from graffiti as well.
Right. Oh.
So those are the type of, I will tell you, we had an incident in Auburn where we had somebody, we had all our artists hand paint the boxes there.
Yeah.
And we had one right on the corner near Rayleigh's over there. And the little shopping center over there. Well, the property management company sent this kid out, and they said, "Hey, there was some graffiti on the other side over there. We need you to go cover it up." We walked over, and he saw that signal box, and he just slopped on several coats of paint on the box. He thought that was the graffiti.
Oh,
this beautiful painting, hand painted. This artist took weeks to do. He covered it up in a. But I will tell you this: I was not real happy. And when I talked to the property, he's like, well, it was a mistake. Okay, see you later. And I was like, no.
Right.
You need, so there was some restitution. All I said is all we were asking for you to do is pay to recommission the artist to do it again. And they did. They were really good about it. But those are the type of things. And by having it wrapped as opposed to, hand painted, I think we'll because also the thing we have to be cognizant here is we have the ocean air, the sea salt, those things.
It's a big difference.
It's a huge difference
from the dry heat down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Wet, moist.
So,
cool.
and I think that's going to be important too. But yeah, there's all kinds of neat ideas that a community can embrace. And like I said, we are at the infancy of this thing. And I think it's going to be only
it's
growth.
exciting though, man. A lot of stuff coming up.
And you were on this show, several months ago. I don't remember quite long. It sounds like you made an incredible amount of progress in that time.
Yeah,
this was kind of a gleam in Daddy's eye.
As the chairperson, I think my number one job is to keep the momentum going. And I've been able to do that. And now we're at a point where we actually have a budget, and when we have artists submitting their ideas, and so we're getting there. It's going to happen.
And I'm not privy to that much city management, but let's go to the budget real quick. So the city ends up paying for.
Well, it's actually
their grants.
Well, it's the Urban Renewal Agency.
Yes.
Okay. They've allotted some funding to put aside some funding for the public art, as long as it's within the urban renewal boundaries.
Okay.
Because that's part of beautification.
Yeah.
And urban renewal is definitely for that. So, yeah.
Okay.
And that's a statewide program, is that?
The urban renewal?
Urban
each
renewal.
city has to form their own urban renewal agency. It's a very... It's simple when you look at it, but when you think about it, it's very complex. It has to do with property taxes within the boundaries of an area.
Okay.
Essentially what they do is they freeze in time, like the property taxes for an area, and all new increases go into for commercial businesses go into the urban renewal agency. So the businesses and they never notice anything different because they're paying their taxes. Generally, taxes go up, typically about 3%, somewhere around there. And so that's what, but anything above what was frozen in time, and typically most of the urban renewal agencies are 20-year programs. So that they collect that money. And I want to say the overall budget for the urban renewal, I think here in Brookings was around $18 million, or somewhere around there, give or take. And that includes the facade programs. That includes the improvements that were done on Railroad. I think that even included some of the improvements to help recruit Bimart to come here. Some of those things too. It's a way of utilizing commercial property taxes and reinvesting it back into the community.
Okay. I want to touch a little bit. It's a bad point, but the graffiti thing. I know here a couple of years ago when both Oregon and California have changed their entrance signs. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're both great.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
When the Oregon sign first came up, that was the first one. Somebody had graffitied it right away. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
That just hurt me to see that.
Yeah.
But they covered that up pretty well.
Yeah.
And now just recently, I think California's has been up now for, I want to say 2 or 3 months. And boy, they really did a good job too, because the old one was just that blue sign with a poppy and then boop, that's it.
Welcome to California.
But oh my gosh, now they've done a wonder.
Yeah,
Again,
beautiful.
it's art. It's art that just, I've seen.
It is.
I made my own little video there when it went up, and I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
And I see people there all the time. That's our point. Something like that's eye-catching, and oh my God, check this out. It's just a cool thing for the community.
Yeah, I just came in from Crescent City and drove straight here.
Okay.
And every time I go to that area, there's always a group of folks on the Oregon side, a group of folks on the California side taking pictures.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, and when I first moved here, we had we wanted our picture in front of the Oregon one. And so we handed a camera off somebody and they took a picture of us. And so it was, but that's the type of thing is, but if it was just an old metal sign that said just welcome to Oregon, I don't think we would probably want our picture in front. I mean, not necessarily,
so.
Yeah.
but because it was a piece of public art, we wanted it there. So that's what we hope with these investments back into the community, that will be the same thing here.
I always kind of thought that once Oregon put their beautiful colorful sign up. I wonder if that embarrassed the Californians because ours was horrible.
Yeah.
But it was, to have them both up, I just think it's a great.
I think it's good for both sides.
Well, and not everyone really thinks about the kind of the emotional aspect of experiencing visual arts in general.
Yes.
And, there's an emotion that you're, as an artist, that you're trying to invoke, or kind of bring out of the viewer. And, that's something that we're thinking about when people are entering the city, kind of like, what do you want them to feel? Not only are they seeing something, but it's kind of going to invoke a feeling and leave an impression on them. And, I share with people that before I moved here, my wife, Laura, and I bought a home here about 2 years before we moved up from California. And we would drive, I was working at the time. And so, we'd have limited days off. So we would just kind of come up, do just kind of this cannonball run, 13, 14-hour drive to get here. And when I would come over the Chetco Bridge, I just had this feeling come over me every time. It's just like, we made it. I'm here. And there's just, like this calm and this relaxed and just the beauty. And, it was just like kind of a nirvana feeling, coming over the bridge. And that's what I want people to experience when they're coming into town. I want them to feel like, wow, I'm here.
Well, you're echoing when like I said, I moved up here 8 years ago. And again, coming from the Sacramento Valley, look, I have wonderful memories there, good people, good places. But when I hit here, I was like, okay, this is paradise.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I just don't ever want to leave.
Yeah.
But after I was here about a year and a half, I made a trip up to the Dalles to see my dad, gone now, rest in peace. But I had made a couple trips, but that was the first time I had been out of this area. Now, again, most of the drive up there was pretty anyway, but when I came back and I came down 199 and I hit 197 coming home, now I was up there for about 3 or 4 days and missing the ocean in this area. It's almost embarrassing. But when I hit 197 and I came up to 101 and I got my first glimpse of the ocean, I teared up. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God, I'm home, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I think we have a benefit to this area. It's more powerful than most areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had this, like I said, when you said about that feeling, I have that feeling.
Yeah.
Same here. I've had a few trips just since moving here 2 years ago. Some for, just family or a little, mini vacations type things. And same thing with what Ron just said. As soon as you come over that Chetco, you're like, you just take that breath and you just feel like,
You
okay,
bet.
I'm
But,
home.
but a lot of people that, where this is not their final destination, they don't get the vibe and they just drive through and they don't know what they're missing, until they're a little further and they see the ocean. They're like, well, this, beautiful scenery, but they're off to their destination.
Right. And everybody's different. I have one more story about, speaking of my dad, and this blew my mind. So him and his caregiver at one time came down, and then, we were just, and I have a deck where I overlook the ocean, and we were out there talking, I said, Dad, look at this. Isn't this awesome? This, and he said, I really don't care for the ocean that much. Am I a product from you?
That was my relatives from Fort Lauderdale.
But
obviously it wasn't the
everybody's
ocean,
different, man. It cracked me up, but I was like, wow.
I had a guest, I won't say who, but yeah, same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Funny.
Like, are you even looking? Are you seeing these
I know.
the sea stacks over there? You see the ocean?
I know. Okay, well, look, we're almost halfway through the point, and we're going quick and fast, and it's great. Great guest that helps out. So I just want to give their halfway point here. Like to remind our listeners that you're listening to KCIW LP 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. We are an all-volunteer community radio station. If you'd like to be a part of KCIW as a volunteer, whether you would like to help out with a donation, assist us with technical skills, or even host your own radio program, please visit our website at kciw.org and click Get Involved. We'd love to have you as part of the KCIW team. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
I'd just like to add one little thing. When you say host your own radio show,
Yeah.
that sounds very intimidating, I think, to a lot of people, even being on a show like this. But we will teach you how to do it.
You bet.
And teach you how to do whatever technical needs you may need, which are basically none right now. And guide you to
Well, you
where
can
you
start
sound.
sweeping up like you did.
Yes,
remember?
we have, and you can have a very professional sounding
You bet.
crew like we do.
You bet. Yeah, we're always looking for people volunteer. Yeah, that's great. And again, 541-661-4098. So speaking of it, sculptures, I can't think of the great word, but the one that blew my mind, we talked about it, the one that's up on Chetco Point.
The two rivers and the heart of the
Rivers
ocean.
in the heart of the ocean.
Yeah.
Now, how long has that been up? 2 years, roughly? I don't.
Must be longer now because it was
Yeah.
there when I got here 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. My sense of time is out there
it may be
anymore.
3 or 4 years. I think.
Yeah, I'd go with at least 3.
Oh, wow.
years,
Okay, so I'm getting old.
Goes by
But
fast.
When I first saw it, I mean, I don't walk it that much because that hill's a little bit of a bear for me sometimes.
You can do it.
I've done it. But anyway, I'll never forget. It was with a friend of mine, and we walked up, and I looked at that. Look at this. What? Mm-hmm. You'd have to see it. You can't see it on the radio. Sorry, but go up there and check it out.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful, and Chetco Point is probably the best place to overlook the ocean in this
I would
area.
agree.
I would put maybe Cape Farello in there too. But there's other places. But Chetco Point, what a sight when you walk up there.
I call that the gem of Brookings.
There you go.
As a matter of fact, every time I've had friends and family come visit, they're like, "Well, what do you want to go do?" I said, "Get in the car. We go straight to Chetco because I want them that to be their first impression
Yes.
of Brookings." And they're just their jaws open. They're like, "Wow!"
You bet.
And because they've got the statue there as well as just these breathtaking views as well. So,
Oh, man.
And it's an award-winning park. People don't realize it's a city park as well.
Yeah,
So
wow, right.
we jokingly say it's right by our wastewater plant. It's right there too.
That's the price of admission.
The price you have to go
walk by.
And I know. Once in a great while, you'll catch a tiny
whiff.
scent.
Yes, you will.
They do. No, it's worth
it's
it, man.
earthy.
We're doing
It's
it.
earthy.
I don't think I've heard that one before. But yeah, we're actually doing about $10 million worth of renovations to that plant right
No
now
kidding.
as we
Wow.
speak. Yeah. So this thing has been on the books since I think they've been planning it since 2018 or so.
Okay.
But it's that and our wastewater collection. I know this has talking about sewer lines is not exactly public art. But it's a total of about $30 million that we're reinvesting in our infrastructure here in town. So
That's pretty
so we're
cool, man.
It is, and we just tell all the listeners, anybody out there, just be patient. It's gonna, we're gonna be digging up a lot of streets and stuff over the next couple of years, but it's all worth it. So, but like I just said before, it's kind of like what Ron said. It's the price of admission. And when I bring my friends and family, like, wait, where are we going? I said, oh no, we're going behind the wastewater plant. So, and then we go through it. But and like I said, it's just really cool. It's really neat to see their looks on their face when they get up on top of the hill there.
Even though once you, I call it Mount Everest. Once you climb Mount Everest, you get up there. The whole little walk is so beautiful. That bridge they have.
Oh,
over. Everything is wonderful.
Yep,
up there.
it
What
is.
can I
It's
say?
gorgeous. It really is. That
And
little dog park and the whole thing.
Oh, the dog park.
Yep.
When I don't have my dog anymore, sadly, but when I did, I would frequent that dog park too.
Yep.
I mean, in fact, I think one of the first times I was up there, I sent the video back to my Valley friends. I said, "Look, man, this is where I'm at the dog park."
Right.
with the view.
The nicest view of any
$1 million
dog park in the country.
Exactly.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Really, it is.
It is.
Yeah, so my experience with that sculpture, the two rivers in the heart of the ocean, I used to go up there all the time with my dogs. And, I was going up there before that sculpture was there, and then all of a sudden, there it was.
Yes.
And my jaw dropped. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Same here, man.
I love metalwork. I love blown glass, and it has both. A lot of hand-blown frosted glass. It's just gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
And I kept thinking about it, after I left, and keep thinking about it. And I was talking to a friend and asking, "Hey, did you see that new sculpture at the top of Chetco Point?" And he said, "Oh yeah, that's Rob's thing. Rob brought the Rob I know. Oh yeah, that's Rob Decker." And I thought, okay, I guess I don't know Rob Decker very well because I didn't think that was, kind of his space. But I talked to him and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm an artist. I have artist friends, and my friend that is in Montana, Lee Proctor, he built that, and he did that for me. And I worked with people in the city and got it installed there. And I just thought, man, if this guy can get it done, I can get it done.
Awesome.
And I was inspired. And
That's really cool.
And I asked him for the phone number of the artist. And I called Lee and had a nice long conversation with him. We talked for about an hour, and I just kind of picked his brain. How do you make public art work? How did you guys get this here? And they really struggled, and but they learned a lot, and I learned a lot, and I did a little more research and realized, well, you can't do this on your own. You need a team of people.
Yeah.
And so I sought a team, and I wanted to get a good kind of a cross section of the community, and reached out to the Chamber of Commerce, Michelle Ramos, and she was excited to join. And Stacy Gunderson, who's with the Oregon Coast Visitors Association, has a lot of experience in working with people around public art and tourism. And she joined Mary Stanford, who was the president of the Manly at the time.
Okay.
And all we really needed then was someone on the inside with the city, because we knew this is going to be working with the city. And we were so fortunate that we were getting a new city manager. And then, I was told, to press pause. And, once Tim joined and I went back to the city council and, kind of told them, where we're at and what we need. And Tim said, it's me. And so he joined the team. And since then, he hired Wendy, I don't want to say her name wrong. Giordano. She's a fantastic grants writer. That's we have people behind the scenes that most of the people in Brookings don't realize are just doing wonderful work for the city, and
that's a big deal, man. That's got to be a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
And kudos to all of them.
Yeah,
for that.
And these are people, like you said, like Ron and these groups. They're not making a penny off any of this. In fact, Ron's throwing some of his own money into the pile as well. So he's investing into this as well, because I feel like people like Ron and other people in the community, they want to have a legacy of being a part of something. And this is a great thing to be a part of, because this is going to be here for years and decades, maybe centuries. So it depends on,
let's hope so,
what kind of quality art we get and what it's made out of. So that's the type of things that I think it's really exciting, and bring a little bit of splash a little color into our community. Now, we'll also tell you everything that we do on Chetco has to be approved by ODOT as well. So we have had some meetings with the folks from ODOT, because people don't they don't think about you drive off, if you have a little accident off 101 and you hit a statue, you make sure nobody's going to get hurt.
Correct.
So those are the type of things they want to make sure of as well. So
plus you don't want to have a statue that's going to cause an accident.
Exactly.
Flashing lights that look like a signal or something.
Well, that's funny you say that, but I remember driving all over the place, but not here. Like I used to work in the Bay Area down, and they have all these huge signs that are flashing, and I think, man, that's kind
very
of
distracting.
I'm trying not to look, but,
right?
But no. So you feel a lot of cooperation from ODOT? I would assume.
Yeah.
They're not the naysayers. They're just they have to cover the.
Their big deal is
T's,
safety.
dot the I's.
Yeah, it's safety. That's what
sure.
And if you go down 101, of course, like Ron had talked about, Florence, some of these other cities that are out there, obviously there's public art all up and down 101. So it's not like we don't want any public art. What they, like Ron just alluded to, they don't want things that are going to be so distracting where it's going to cause accidents and stuff. So,
but all in all, they've been very supportive.
Very supportive of this. And so, and I think they will continue to be as we go along here too. And a lot of this, control boxes too, ODOT plays a part in that as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, but we want to be good partners with them. And I think this is doing it the right way. I'm not a big fan of asking for forgiveness before you ask for permission. I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay.
And I think that creates a lot of problems and a lot of trust issues. So we want to make sure that we, are forthright with them and the community as to what we're trying to do here. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, one of the things that was kind of a lesson learned with the Two Rivers piece on Chetco Point was there wasn't a lot of communication to the community. It just showed up.
Right. And we talked a little bit about that, and not everybody was thrilled, but I think most people were.
I think most people were.
Was that the gist that you got?
I didn't take a survey, but I would say most people like it.
Okay.
I know of a couple people that are, still upset about it.
I'll be darned.
But I think it could only be, a positive if we get the word out and let people know what we're doing and what the intention is and kind of what the process is. We want people to feel like this is not being kind of hoisted onto them. This is something that is coming from the community for the community.
Yeah.
It's not just for tourists, but it's also for people that live here.
Absolutely.
And this is really something that's going to be part of our identity. We have a lot of really unique things about our community.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
You can't say, where else can you find the Chetco effect?
Exactly.
That's our thing. That's our thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, these little unique kind of things that make Brookings what it is, I think we can all kind of enjoy and be proud of. So that's kind of what our intention is.
Yeah, we did a little survey, not really a survey, but a little research a couple months ago, and we found out that, talking about the Chetco effect, we have the highest average temperature of any city along the Oregon coast of 62 degrees. We have the most hours of sunshine of any city on the Oregon
What
coast.
do they call it? The banana belt of
Yep.
Oregon or something?
Yes.
I mean, we've all experienced that.
We're not going to do banana sculpture.
No banana sculpture.
How about banana slugs?
No.
We have a lot of those.
That's a Santa Cruz thing.
That's another thing we're famous for, though.
I know.
Absolutely, they're everywhere.
I know.
So, but yeah, or the Savannah bananas. No, we're not going to do that either.
Okay.
So, but no, but it is. It's something very unique to this.
Well-
And my family gets tired of me posting all these beautiful pictures. I don't know about Ron, your family. They're like,
yours
wow. Oh yeah, they do. They get mad at me because my brothers. They live in Bentonville, Arkansas, and a couple of days ago the heat index was 116 with all the humidity, and they're like, "Well, what's it there?" I was like, it's about 11 o'clock. It's 59 degrees here. And they're like, okay. And I said, well, if you come visit me, you could have some of this. So,
Right.
Anyway.
A friend that lives in Sedona, whenever there's weather alerts on the West Coast, he calls up to see how I'm doing. I said, well, I was just putting a jacket on.
Right.
Exactly.
I know, man. It is. It's funny. I get this. I mean, it's all in jest too. I do tell people when I do that. I know they're frying at Sacramento at 110. I'm saying, yeah, man. We've hit our boiling point. It's like 69 up here, and I don't know if we can take much.
Right, exactly.
But that's okay. But
Exactly.
And the Chetco effect. Yeah, we have experienced that a lot. Now I live just across the border in Smith River. I mean, I could probably couple hundred feet, I'm at the Oregon border, but there's microclimates around here.
Oh, yeah.
It could be almost 100 at the harbor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like 65 or 70 because we always had this
crazy.
Smith River fog.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, it's cool. I like it.
It is.
And it's rare that we get 100 degrees in harbor, but it does happen.
Well, yeah.
Every once in a while, last year,
Pirate
I
Festival.
volunteered for the Pirate Festival last year. And I think it was the
Okay.
hottest day. And I had on this ridiculous thick wool costume and got to sweat it out a little bit. But anyway, but yeah, but that's the thing. Like I said, we have this great weather, great community, volunteer spirit. So let's take advantage of it and really, do some significant beautification of our downtown and our area.
Right.
So.
Right. Getting back to the logistics of that sculpture and to let some, I know we can't show it here, but roughly how tall is that thing? Maybe like 12 feet tall? What do you say?
Are you talking about what we're going to do or up at
No, I'm sorry, the
point?
one that up at Chetco
That,
Point.
that must be online, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to
Find it
say,
on-
check that out. It's
So people are listening and have never seen it.
sculpture on top of Chetco
Gosh,
Point.
I would guess it's about like, I don't know, 16.
It's tall.
up there.
Tall
Yeah,
and
16
tall and lean, like Mr. Ray Garrett. But the logistics of getting it up there. Now, did he build it? Did he come down here to build that?
I believe it
Sculpture.
was fully built in Montana
Oh, wow.
and shipped down here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the artist, met the local team here. I'm not sure if it was Public Works or the Parks and Recs guys that installed it. But
Okay.
the artist was here for that, and then he came back for a ribbon cutting. There was a ribbon cutting.
God,
ceremony.
like I said, I missed all that, but it's there, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I really do.
So it's a little bit of a hidden away, and so
Which
having
is good,
Yeah.
in a way, I think.
in a way, it's a wonderful little secret experience But at the same time, we want to have similar experience, more accessible, right?
Yeah.
So
when that comes into being with the north end of the bridge, that's going to be pretty eye-catching.
Yeah.
Sure it will.
well, and that's just the beginning. I mean, we're
Yeah.
looking at the next locations and the ones after that, and and so far we've been talking about purchasing artwork. There's also consignment art as well. So artists put these sculptures out, on loan, and they could be in a location for 1 or 2 years,
Okay.
giving people an opportunity to purchase them. And if they're not purchased, the artist takes it back, and you get a different piece of work there. Yeah, so there's that as well.
Yeah.
That's in the works.
Yeah, I think there was a sculptor in Auburn. He's based out by the airport. And I think he did the same thing. He would loan these different sculptures out to different cities for so much a year, and
Okay.
then if he had a buyer, then he'd
okay.
let them know like, hey, I'm going to be coming back and getting mine at a certain point. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a great thing for us to have as well. So
Right.
Yep.
Speaking of sculpture, it's not a sculpture, but it's a statue, I believe. I haven't been down in my home for a long time. It's the Gold Panner in Old Town Auburn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's been there for quite a while.
Quite a while. And then there's a local dentist there in Auburn. I forgot which little street that's off of, but he has
High Street, I think.
with the big, huge sculptures of the Greek.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got it. My
And
memory.
It's crazy. These
charged
things,
my memory
these things
back.
are like 30, 40 feet high.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I was like, what is that? It's not even visible off the main,
No,
49
no.
there. It's not even visible off of it.
No.
And he said, well, Doc, whatever. He said, he was into this thing and he built those. I said, what's he going to do? He's just going to leave them there. I'm like, okay, well, nobody's going to see them. We don't need speakeasy art, where people have to, figure out where it's at. We'd like to have some stuff where people can actually see it. But no, like I said, those are the type of things that I feel, like I said before, as a city manager, my job also, first and foremost is to the residents of this community. All you guys are my customers, and we want to make sure you have a good experience. And being a tourist community, I was just at our little local bakery yesterday, and Spencer at the Honeybee, and he said,
Oh, I
"This
got to
is-"
try to avoid that place.
I do too. Sometimes he's only open 4 days a week, and there's been times where I've gone all 4 days. So
It's fantastic.
it's
He
good
does a
stuff.
great
But
job.
he just said this is going to be a record year. He said, I mean, he's selling out almost every day over
Yep.
there. And he says the tourist here. He said he goes with the prices of gas and everything else. He said I didn't think it was going to be. So we know we still have a lot of tourists. Even we're probably drawing more tourists from closer by.
Sure.
Because it's expensive, $5 a gallon.
Off the beaten path.
Yeah, it is
Even
a
though
little
it's
bit.
on 101, but a lot
But-
of people are going up I-5.
The reason why I think people want to come to Brookings and along the Oregon coast is because of the weather. I mean, you think about it; they're
absolutely.
escaping. I lived in Siskiyou County for 4.5 years, and over by Mount Shasta Weed area.
Oh, I've worked up
beautiful.
there. It's beautiful, and it's great communities.
Yep,
but, okay.
lot of fire stuff going on too.
Horrible fire
Yeah,
stuff.
and so
unfortunately.
that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get out of there. I was
Okay.
evacuated 3 times in 18 months. So I was like, I think I need to go find another place. So anyway, but that's the point. We would come over to Brookings from Weed, Mount Shasta area because it was hot and and we're just like, come on, let's get out of here. And when we asked people, this just tells you a little bit about Brookings. When I first got there, I said, we want to go to the coast. Tell me what city to go to. And everybody said, you got to go to Brookings, got to go to Brookings. Okay. And nothing against Crescent City or Gold Beach, somebody said, but they would say, you got to go to Brookings. Best restaurants, best weather. Okay, we're done.
another one.
So we visited here a ton, between the time I lived in Weed in fact, I got there in March of 2020, and by July of 2020, we were already here because it was hot over there. We wanted to get away. So anyway, that just kind of speaks to the draw that we have here.
It is a big draw.
It
I
is.
Can't, how many times I can remember at Checo Point one day, where I'm hiking around up there, and this family with their 2 dogs and kids. I mean, and we're just talking. We had to come over from Grants Pass, man. It was 100, and we were in jackets, and the fog was here.
Exactly.
But hey,
You ever take
it's a
that?
draw.
If you ever take that river ride on the riverboat?
I haven't done
Yes.
that
If you
yet.
go as you go inland, it gets
doesn't take long.
warmer and warmer, and they intentionally spin the boat so everybody
You
gets
get
wet. You go, oh, thank you,
Little
thank
cool
you.
off.
And then you start getting down to the coast. Say, hey, well, wait a minute.
We don't like that.
Why would you get me wet?
It's amazing how much it can change.
Oh,
You bet.
absolutely. Yeah.
Like I said, my friends right now are in Hayuchi. Now, it's been fairly, not quite the same, but I've been to Hayuchi before where it's like 20, 25 degrees hotter. And it's only, 8 or 9 miles up into the hills. But
I had to go to a city manager conference about 2 weeks ago in Ashland for 2 or 3 days. And I was like, oh my, it was like 97 there. And I was like, I can't take this. I'm somebody who grew up in Oklahoma and Arkansas where the humidity is really thick. And I was like, I don't like this.
No.
And, but you get spoiled here.
yes, you do. And I will say, conversely, I have a couple of friends and family that they kind of don't like they call it the doom and the gloom up here, the fog and the cool. And it's heaven to me, man. I think they're rare.
Fog reduces fire danger, so.
Well, and that too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
62 degrees in fog is perfect for me.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that any day over the 97 and
Yeah, like I said, born and raised around the Sacramento Valley, worked for the railroad all down there. I mean, oh my God, I can remember heat exhaustion a few times. Don't
too.
want to deal with that. You
yeah.
too, Ron?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it was definitely a motivator to move out of Southern California. Just, I when I first bought my house down there in the city of Orange in 1999, it didn't have air conditioning.
Yikes.
And then, in the summer, it's like, well, there's really just a couple weeks there where it's, you get the fans out or whatever. And then that turned into a couple months, and then, more and more days over 100, and finally had to get air conditioning, and then finally had to move out of there.
What was your electric bill like?
Well,
I
I
heard
didn't.
people saying 500. And,
Well,
yeah.
I'm cheap, so I wouldn't get. But I had neighbors that were paying $300 to $400 a month, because they were just keeping it cool 24/7.
In 2014 in Auburn, I was paying between $500 to $600.
I was going to say that's about the norm, and I'll never forget my wife calling me one time at work, and she goes, "We just got the PG&E bill of over $700."
Oh yeah, I dreaded every time I got the little email saying.
And granted, I was an air conditioned guy. I can't take it without it. So that's when we went on the so-called PG&E Smart program. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Where they shut it off.
Well, yeah, we couldn't. Anyway, it was. I called it the dumb program after a while, but we stuck with it. And what it did was it leveled out your bills throughout the year.
Yeah.
Rather than $700 or something, now it's every month it might have
the same price.
or kind of thing.
Kind of average it out. Kind of finance your electricity.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it's not getting any better down there, man.
No.
It's getting hotter and hotter.
Well, that's the other thing we're spoiled here with Curry Electric as well.
Yeah, and I don't have that. I wish I could throw a line across and get hooked up. But
Pacific.
That's just,
Pacific Power I had, and
that's who I have.
Siskiyou County. I just kept creeping up. And,
Yeah.
Yep. They have to, what they're doing now is as well as they're trying to prevent these fires, and by
Yeah, you
so,
have. I mean,
they have to. And but
I think we had to shut power off a couple years ago for 5 or 6 days. Mm-hmm. Now again, I don't even have air conditioning where I don't need it. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking about it in 8 years. I've been there almost 8 years. Only twice I have a stand-up fan. Only twice I had to get that stand-up fan at night, I opened up the glass door anyway, and have the fan blow on me.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a little uncomfortable, but that's it.
Yep.
And again, there's no AC here or where I live anyway.
Nope.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, we are in paradise, and I think all this beautiful artwork that we're talking is going to make it even better.
Well, I hope people are looking forward to it, and I'm sure many people will be enjoying it. Hopefully in early next year, we'll have something in.
God, that would be
and
very
get some
cool.
momentum. Earlier we were talking about how this is all financed, and some of this is financed through donations.
Mm-hmm.
My own friends, family, and I set up a GoFundMe. Which is gofundme.com/Brookings Public Art.
Okay.
However, that's not tax deductible. If you want, you can go right to the city, right where you pay your water bill, and write a check if you want to donate towards
earmark
public art.
public art. Yes.
Yeah, put something in the memo saying for public art, and you can donate right to the city, and that'll be a line item right for public art.
Okay.
So
and we also, Wendy has been working on some grants as well for us. So there's not a ton of art grants out there. I mean, there are some, but there's not a ton of them. But
Well, unfortunately, I think it goes back to some of the arts classes in the high schools and whatever. I just think art is an important factor.
oh yeah,
And sometimes I don't know if it's true anymore, but it's first thing that they cut or something like that. And I think it should be way up there.
it generally is. If you look at a lot of the school programs too, they'll cut music, they'll cut art. All these things seems like wow, it really hurts the community. I have a background. My bachelor's degree is in the performing arts. So I know people are like, how did you get into city management? And I said, well, I'm a good communicator, I guess. And I did go back to school and get my master's in public administration, but I always joke. I said, to be a good city manager, you don't have to be an expert in, a finance or engineering or planning. You just got to be a good communicator and build a good team around you. And that's what we've done. And it's what I have here. I have a great team, including volunteers like Ron and some of the other folks that are, making my job much easier.
I'm just really proud of the people we have, in City Hall doing great work. And also our city council, our mayor has been really phenomenal. And I think for people that really care about what's going on in this city, I highly recommend they attend city council meetings.
Good point.
My wife and I go to most all of them, and we're always enlightened, and we always get some insight that we didn't know we were going to get going in. So you could really see firsthand all of those volunteers, city council and mayor, that are doing a great job. The mayor, Phoebe Pareda has been very supportive of our public art movement, and has really been an inspiration. So I think we're really, really lucky to have her as well.
Wow. All good news. And I'm assuming most local businesses are all hyped up about what we're all talking about.
I think the word is starting to trickle out to them as well.
So it's okay.
Yeah, and that's what we're here today for.
I was just talking to Michelle Ramos this afternoon down at the port during those festivities, and I'll be working with her to get out an email to all of the chamber members and let them know what's going on, and get them a little more involved.
Okay.
Yeah, because those type of things logistically are going to help draw more people into the area and more people to stay. Real quickly, my mom and her husband drove, they flew into San Diego years ago and drove all the way to Seattle. And she goes, Brookings. She goes, oh, I remember. We stopped and got gas there. And I was like, okay, well, Mom, that's not exactly what we want to hear, but that's that's all she can remember. But that was like 25 years ago. So.
And I think it is changing. I hear a lot of people that they end up retiring here because they've heard about.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So
that's what brought us here. We were looking for a place with a decent climate, and
same here.
My wife had a friend that lived in the area, and we didn't even think of going anyplace else. We just straight from Alaska to here and unpacked.
Yeah, many people have been down South San Diego all the way up to Canada, and nope, this is it.
Yeah. Our new council member, Jim Gelada, our brand new council member, he's from Ventura County. He said he and his wife did the same thing, and they said they picked Brookings.
I've heard that story more than once.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys. We're down to a minute. Really appreciate that, and it just sounds like it's a big deal that's going to be happening for this community.
Agreed.
Yep,
absolutely.
And
thank you for having us.
Yeah, appreciate your support, appreciate your time, and the time of your listeners.
Oh, I'm sure everybody we all had a good time. I know the listeners must have too. So, hey, thank you guys again. Tim Rundle.
Rundle, you got it right. Yep.
Yeah. And Ron Schneerson. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, okay, Mr. Ray, we're getting ready to sign off. I will say, so far next Sunday, we plan on having Bill Gorham as our guest. And that'll be exciting too.
Yes.
Local marine biologist. Okay. Thank you all. You've been listening to KCIW LP 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon, home of soon to be many sculptures. To welcome everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you.